What's up, guys? Welcome to A Reseller's Life. My name is Chris. I go by Daily Refinement Online. In this episode, I'm going to show you guys how to purchase a car for $1,000 profit online. And you can also use this strategy to purchase cars for rental cars. For me, I never want to get stuck with a vehicle, so I'm always buying cars that I can also use as a rental car service in the event that I wanted to keep the car for some reason. You can earn income from it and offset the cost of owning it. Sometimes also you can purchase a car that you want to drive for a while, and if you can offset the cost with Getaround, you can end up getting some super nice cars for almost free. But let's get straight into it. What are you going to do when you first start? I recommend going to Craigslist, going to the for sale section, clicking on cars and trucks. Now, this is exactly the skill you need as a reseller in order to find profitable items. There are thousands and thousands of results here. How are you going to know which ones are profitable? So I'm going to try and narrow it down and make it easier. You can tell right away which ones are dealerships versus which ones are private seller. And private sellers are going to offer a better deal, but it's going to require a lot more homework, and you're more likely to find a profitable item coming from an owner. So if you click on owner, right here in the top left navigation, it's going to narrow down the results, but you can see there are still more than 3,000 vehicles in this area. We're going to make sure that the title is clean right here. And then now, after we update the results, let's see here, we're going to do some price parameters. So I recommend not buying a car over $10,000 when you're just getting started. Actually, I'm going to adjust it to $12,000 when you're just getting started. And again, if you don't have $12,000, that doesn't mean you can't finance a vehicle and still earn money on top of it. In fact, I recommend if you're going to do a rental car service, you probably should finance some of the vehicles. That way you can purchase a few more cars. I'm going to go into that in more depth in my guide on how to do rental cars. So you guys can sign up for that in the description below with the coupon code from this video. But let's continue. So no more than $12,000. I'm also going to put a minimum price here of $500 to weed out a lot of the scam artists who list stuff at $1. Then I'm going to click 75 miles from where I live. When you're just getting started, you don't want to drive too far because you don't know what you're doing, and you need to basically look at a bunch of deals before you decide to pull the trigger on one. Make and model, let's leave that blank for now. Model year, let's not go older than 2005. Odometer, same thing with the scam artists. I put at least 1,000. And then max, there is no max. And then I'm going to update the search here and see if it narrows down the results. Wow, there's still over 3,000 vehicles. Now, I recommend if you're just getting started to start with a low-hanging fruit, which is a Japanese car. And specifically, I have owned over 10 Priuses. I would consider myself a Toyota Prius expert. So just to give you an idea with these parameters, there's only 107 vehicles that I need to look through to find one that's profitable. In this range, right, of of vehicles that are under $12,000 and also clean title, you can see these 107. My job now is to find which ones are profitable. I'm always going to sort newest because the newest ones are going to be the ones that potentially have a deal. Now, the people who have the most descriptive titles, in my opinion, are the easiest to work with because they already know sort of the mile or the parameter of what they're looking for. So here we have a car, 2007 Toyota Prius, 122,000 miles for $6,200. Right off the bat, knowing this market, that's probably right on the money. When you look at people who look at the photo is clear. It's of the car versus this first photo you can see here. It's a picture of the interior, which is okay. And I'm going to give you guys a few more pro tips that I noticed right away. On top, because I know I have sold this car so many different times, you can see there's a Turo cover, which is the luggage cover. If you find these at garage sales, they're worth a lot of money, usually well over $100, sometimes up to $300 just for just for this accessory. And you can see that it's missing the trunk mat. So usually I can tell if somebody's missing the trunk mat, this car is probably going to be really dirty because why wouldn't you leave that in the photo? But this comes from experience in selling cars. So what I'm looking for here, first off, is a differential in the price versus the market value. The reason why I didn't put a max on the odometer is I want to show you guys just the difference in how many it reduces. So I'm sorry, how many results are reduced when you do over 100,000. So I'm going to do 100,000 results right now. We are for the mileage. We're at 107 vehicles. Let's see what happens when we add the high parameter for the odometer. Okay, narrows it down to 25 vehicles. This is great because the better you are at looking at sorting, the less results you have to look through in order to find something super profitable. So here we go. We have only 25 vehicles for sale. I'm going to sort from lowest to high. Oops, that's from high to low. Okay, so here we have one 2006 Toyota Prius with 67,000 miles. This is a go. As long as this is not a scam, and I'm going to take a look and see if there are any clear indicators that this is a scam. The person has given their VIN number, which is fantastic. When somebody gives their VIN number, it's an indication that they actually have the vehicle. Pretty much everything that doesn't include a VIN number is a scam. That means the person is just using photos of a different car to try to get you to meet up with them in the parking lot, and they'll rob you. So you need to make sure if you're going to meet up with people, I recommend meeting up at the bank, bring a friend, negotiate the price before you show up. Of course, when you go there, you can try and lowball them, and that's, in my opinion, not the best way to conduct business. You should know what you're going to pay until you show up. You can negotiate once you look at the condition of the vehicle and be like, well, this is not what is advertised. The wheels are missing something. Because right here on this first photo, I can tell this rear wheel is missing the hubcap. You can see in this photo, this has a cover on it on the front, and the cover is missing on the back, which means they basically scratched it on the curb and they just took it off. So these are little things that I notice, and when I show up, I would probably offer this person a little bit lower than that because of that. But I already know this car will sell for about $8,000 to $9,000, depending on the condition of the vehicle. This same car at a dealership would be between 9 and 10. So getting between 8 and 9,000 is pretty good. So it says here, inherited the car from my godfather. Awesome. Need something with working AC. So there we go. With the price that low off the bat, I would basically expect something to be wrong with it. But again, it's your job to figure out what's wrong with it. I love the photos that are involved with this. Let's see here. It has the tonneau cover. You can see here it has the floor mat, which is fantastic. Whenever the floor mats are intact, you can tell the person took care of it. I wouldn't be surprised if this actually was her grandfather's car, because look at that. It looks barely used to me. This is an awesome vehicle. I bet that the AC issue is very cheap to repair. Always go to a local shop and get that turned out. I could probably see if I could purchase this car for $6,000. I might actually reach out to her. It's already been 3 days. She's asking a little bit much. This is also not a desirable color. Having a light blue color car, I hate this color car, but I've had probably 4 or 5 in this exact model, because this is just another pro tip. Cars that are white, black, or gray get driven way more. It's the same thing in the sneaker market. They make white, black, and gray. It's easy to match. They make tons of high volume of those, versus these blue, green, gold, to a certain degree, light purple, all these odd colors. The people who buy those cars, I don't know for whatever reason, but they don't drive them as much. This car is 13 years old and only has 67,000 miles. That's really low. So makes sense that it was an old person that drove this. Okay, so has new brakes. What I would do is also check the service records when you show up. And what you're going to be doing is comparing the market. So it's pretty straightforward in the sense that you could just do these 25 cars and look at the price difference. So at the bottom, we have people asking $6,000 to $7,000. On the high end, you have people asking $11,000, $12,000 for the vehicle. You can see there's also a generation shift from 2010 and newer. The model changed. It went from this like a toaster shape to like a more futuristic shape in 2010. So you can actually eliminate that by going 2009. And this is going to be stuff that you learn from doing this for a while. So you can see here, we're really only comparing 11 vehicles, and it's not even 11 vehicles because some people have double posted. So you can see 3 people posted their car twice, trying to flood the market. And those vehicles, you have a good chance of getting a deal because it hasn't sold for some reason, so they flipped on another one. There's also 6 packages with the Prius, and this is important to understand because when you're buying cars, sometimes you can pay slightly more if it has different options. So I know before even looking into this that the Touring Edition has a backup camera, it has leather, it has JBL audio. This is just from practice. At 96,000 miles, this is like essentially the perfect get around vehicle in my opinion. It comes in under 100,000. It's $6,400. You could rent it on the system for probably 2 years, 1 or 2 years, depending on where you place it, and earn $3,600 to $5,000 on this car. So you're doing a $6,400 investment to earn $5,000 over 2 years. Not too bad. You can see this is posted 22 hours ago. It's something that I would jump on right away if the price was right. At $6,000, I would probably pop on this car and immediately go and get it because it should sell between $7,000 and $8,000 depending on the situation. All you have to do is buy it and just wait. You can see people are looking for commuter vehicles, and look how few of them they are in the market. I know from looking at this almost every single day that about 1 to 5 new Prius enter the market every single day, and I would say 1 to 10 of them sell depending on what gas prices are. Every time gas prices jump, these things start selling like crazy because they're 40 miles per gallon. So right here, this is fantastic because this car is, again, one of those odd colors. It's red, and the price is firm. So I actually have seen this car for a while. It's been listed for a while, and this person probably is not in a hurry to get it. That's usually not the person that you're looking for because, like I was saying before with this car, the very similar gray and green cars, those cars are listed between, let's say, $5,500 and $7,000. You can see this person, the very specific number of 7658 means this person has done some homework and they're just guesstimating that's the exact value of the car. I would say that probably is what I would try and flip it for. Probably a little less. I would accept $7,000 for it. So if you can get one of these other cars up, either this blue one or this green one for 6, flip it for 7. There is your $1,000 profit. Depending on where you live, tax and license is a little bit different. You may have to adjust a little bit for the condition if you have to replace the brakes or tires, but I don't recommend you do that when you're flipping a car. Make sure the car is safe, make sure it passes smog and safety, and make sure that you wash your car before you take photos of it, because the biggest indicator of how people are going to buy it is just the condition of the vehicle. I just purchased one that's a 2009 with 37,000 miles, which is ridiculously low, for $9,000. And I could flip this car probably for between 10 and 12,000, depending on who I meet. Meaning the person that, if you meet someone who doesn't drive a lot of miles, they're going to fall in love with the car that I just bought because it's like new. If you're looking for somebody that's going to drive it to death, then you're looking for somebody, you can price it a little. You're not going to get as much money because they're going to destroy the vehicle. So it depends on your customer reading who is going to come look at your car. Here's another decent deal, 80,000 miles, dark gray with gray leather. See, here's a person that doesn't know that this is package 6. I know it's package 6, which brand new is like $6,000 or $7,000 extra dollars. This person doesn't know that. They're the second owner, which meaning there's a little bit of a bonus when you're the first owner of a vehicle. People think that has a little bit of value, so they'll always say I'm the first owner, third owner, second owner, whatever. But 80,000 miles is very good. This would mean you get basically an extra year on it in the rental car versus the other vehicles that are a little bit older. So year-wise, if you're looking for a car for rental, lower miles is going to be good because that means you won't have to replace it as often. One thing that's pretty much another pro tip is I've had 3 vehicles now totaled on the Getaround system. When you purchase a car that's this cheap, pretty much every single accident totals the car, which is awesome because when this car gets totaled, you're not going to get paid out this amount, what you paid for. You're going to get paid out the market value of it. And I'm going to show you guys the market value of it by clicking on all. So there's 11 of these for sale, but there's 32 available via a dealer. So you can see here, dealerships are going to charge, here we go, 10,000, 11,000, 9,000, charging significantly more. When your car is in an accident, this is what they pay out. You guys saw those horrific pictures of the blue one that I just had totaled. This exact car. This car was totaled in an accident. It had 155,000 miles on it, which is more than twice as old as this car. They paid $5,900. So I bought that car with around 70,000 miles for $5,500. So $5,500, I paid for that two and a half years ago. It's been earning me money on the system. It was totaled. They paid out $400 more than I paid for the vehicle, which is just insane. So when you're looking at these cars, the depreciation, it never really goes below 4,000. Let's actually take a look here and get an idea of what this car does. Let's take the mileage odometer off. Whoops. And just see how high they go. So here we go. We have some in the $2,000-$3,000 range, but I would guess this mileage is scary high. Let's take a look here. Oh wow, 194,000 miles. It's still selling for $3,000. That's incredible. So it's almost impossible to lose money on a Prius if you're putting it up for rental. Just make sure to last long enough in the system to earn your money back. So this is just sort of an insight into how I look at problem solving and looking for items to sell. You have to learn a lot about a specific thing in order to have some advantages when you're looking through these items. So for me, when I'm looking through these different cars, I can tell right away what generation is it, what's a popular color, what's not a popular color, what's unusually high mileage, what's normal mileage. I can look at the condition of the headlights and tell you if they're like an Uber driver or if they just parked in front of their driveway. You can also tell if one rear headlight has water in it. It's usually condensation from parking on that side of the road next to grass, right? That's going to produce that effect on the car versus a garaged vehicle is not going to do that. Also, different vehicles have different paint. So for example, on the Prius, on the tail, this little spoiler in the back, it's plastic. The rest of the car is metal. So plastic doesn't wear as well as metal, obviously, so it fades. So you can tell by looking at the car if it was a garaged vehicle or not. Me personally, this is one of those freak cars that doesn't really depreciate, and you can tell even the great Graham Stephan, his first car, I believe, was a 2006 Toyota Prius, and that guy is obsessed with saving money and earning money. So this vehicle I recommend you also use as a sourcing vehicle for your eBay reselling adventures as well. It's so weird driving a car that you probably can pay off really quickly or pay cash for because it's basically under $7,000. You can drive it from 80,000 miles to 200,000 miles and still sell it for $3,000. That's just mind-blowing. Also, if you guys have noticed, probably about half of all taxi cabs are this exact vehicle for the reason that the motors in the cars are designed to last about 400,000 miles. That being said, people are afraid of the hybrid technology inside. It does sound a little bit like a spaceship when you're driving it. And the hybrid system now, the repairs of replacing that battery are probably around $900. Used to be like $4,000 to replace it, but there are actually millions of these vehicles on the road. There's more than 1 million of these cars sold worldwide, I think every single year. This is one of the most popular cars in the world. Another vehicle that you guys can try, this video is getting kind of long, definitely Toyota Camry, Toyota Corolla, Camry, Corolla, Prius. If you looked every single day, it would be impossible not to find 2 or 3 per week that you could flip for a $1,000 profit. Now again, that is not a lot of money for some people who are putting up 5, 6, 7, 10 grand to earn 1,000 is kind of scary for most people. But just let me put this into perspective for you guys. The odds of it taking longer to sell than 1 month if you price it at market or slightly below are pretty much zero. We're talking about hundreds of things that thousands of people are looking for. That's one of the most powerful lessons in reselling that I can give you guys is just looking at this market. How many people are looking for a safe, reliable car for their daughter to get the work and back? Maybe they're doing the Dave Ramsey steps and they want to get out of, they're looking for a bucket, right? I consider this actually a decent car though, because these cars brand new are 30 grand. So I don't consider this a bucket. And when you are only using $20 to $30 a week in gas, you can really save a ton of money. So that's just my 2 cents on a Toyota Prius. Second generation is between 2005 and 2009. For Getaround and Turo, I believe you need a car that's 10 years or younger. Okay, so you want to look at 2008 or newer. So let me just type in 2008. It's not even that scary, honestly, to just pay whatever people are asking. You probably are not going to lose money. If we're looking for under 100,000 miles, under $12,000, almost all these cars would immediately cash flow if you financed. So as an example, this $8,500 car, let's just take a look here. I'll give you the exact idea. A car loan on this car is probably about maximum $200. And this car in a rental car system would bring in $500 to $600 revenue easily. And you could probably still drive it and earn that much, like if you wanted to rent your car out when you're not using it. So there are very few investments on earth that you can just go to the bank if you have good credit or even challenged credit. If you had really bad credit, the payment would still be under $300. It would immediately cash flow. That's insane. There's no investment like that for under 10 grand anywhere. It's amazing. So also, the one reason why it's so easy to obtain financing for this type of stuff is because there's actual physical hard asset, right? So people are looking at, the bank is saying, wow, they have this Prius. In case they default on the loan, we'll just take the Prius back and we can still sell it for market. The indicators for whether or not they'll give you money is the mileage of the vehicle, the age of the vehicle. The newer the car, the easier it is for them to get their money back. So the more likely they are to give you a loan on it. So very cool opportunity. And again, guys, this is sponsored by my guide on how to do rental cars as a business. You should earn, in my opinion, between $300 and $500 profit per vehicle that you throw onto the system. It's not passive income though. If you're looking for passive income, that's not this channel. I really only see like stocks and maybe the real estate market as passive, but those aren't guaranteed earnings. This isn't either, but for me, when you place a car in an area like where I live, where people don't own cars, it's a good opportunity. One more thought: where I live, it costs about $300 for a parking spot. Okay, so it's just insane that owning a vehicle here is more than just the ownership. And we'll go over, Latisse Hudson and I made that guide on how to do rental cars. We have experience with all different kinds of cars in 2 different markets. She's in Denver, I'm in the Bay Area. So in Denver, different kinds of cars sell, different kinds of cars are available. There's a lot more 4-wheel drive there, obviously. So this is just a lesson on, you need to know what the market yields. Where I live, 1 in 5 cars is a Prius. In Denver, I bet 1 in 50 cars is a Prius. You're going to have to be doing the same exact thing with a different make and model. All right, guys, appreciate your time. If you enjoyed this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Take care.